All right, so we are up and running. We're gonna do a little bit of vibe coding right now. Um, hello, hello. All right, let's get coding here. First off, what do we need to work on? I always have a little PRD here up at bat, product requirement document. And then at the bottom, I like to just jot notes of what's actually, what we need to work on. So these are just some like random ideas, but I think first off, I want to just take a look at how things are looking right now and see what might need improvement. So off the top of my head, something that I was thinking about is how right now the user needs to upload the entire video. So I'm just scheming about if they could possibly just upload, like it just parses the audio, sends that to the cloud, and then they're able to get a full transcription without the entire video needing to be uploaded. But then it runs the risk of that entire video file needing to be stored on the browser, which sounds kind of complicated. So yeah, that only really works with a desktop-based app, and with the web-based structure we have, it's like kind of hard to just pivot like that. So I think something we can start on, I'm just gonna check here if we have any viewers in here. So let's go ahead and yeah, we gotta add the streaming thing. Okay. To do what to do. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so one thing right off the bat is that the user needs to select all of these when adding to the project. Might as well just make that a multi-select. So let's just get rolling here. Hey, so when the user is adding clips from the media modal, they need to click add on every single clip card, and then so basically they click add, the modal disappears, and then they need to click the modal again, click add, it disappears, click the modal again. You get the point. Could we just make it a multi-select? First, just look at the code base, see what we're working with, and then present me with a quick plan on how we can implement this. So that's typically how I go about making changes is I'll just have multiple GitHub work trees just on my desktop here. And then, so as you can see, I have, this is like the main one. So typically I try to keep the main one clean and then I'll have like multiple work trees like this one right here, Relabs 2.01 open. And then once I know for sure, okay, changes are good in this, then I'll merge that to main and then I'll push that to GitHub. And then GitHub has an automatic action where it then deploys to Firebase. So that's kind of nice, not having to uh, push to GitHub and deploy to Firebase separately. And there's like a few, I won't go too in depth, but there's a few different things that do need to be deployed because we're using Data Connect for the backend, which is basically Firebase's wrapper on Cloud SQL, and then Cloud SQL's a wrapper on PostgreSQL. So Data Connect makes it nice, but that's like our data schema is one thing we need to push out to, but not every time. It's pretty rare that we make backend data schema changes. Um, what is it? I'm trying to think here. Oh yeah, the Firebase front end. So that's all like front end React code that that just gets deployed through GitHub when I push it. And then the other thing that gets deployed as well when I push to GitHub is Firebase function. No, it's not Firebase functions. It's just Cloud Functions V2, which is one of Google's products, which basically it's just a wrappered up cloud service or cloud run job. But it's like a little easier to call. So that's why I like to use those rather than like having a whole separate um, service and job that I need to like set up API calls and stuff for that, etc. So that's a quick rundown on that. Just gonna check the stream, see if we have any viewers. Am I able to just put this in the corner? That would be awesome. Not sure. Oh, I think so. Okay, so I'm gonna like this. Bang. It's kind of inconvenient, but it's all right. Okay, so let's see what this agent got back to me with. It said, current behavior, add selection state to the modal, plus set string. All right, that looks perfect. Yes, go ahead and implement. My spelling gets so bad because, I mean, AI obviously doesn't really care about spelling. All right, so while that's working, let's get another work tree spun up. Create other work tree called RealLabs 2.02. Bang. I like to number them categorically, but it doesn't really matter. And I'll just put that right under here. Bang. Okay, so we'll fix bugs for a little while longer, and then I want to get to just like some bigger structural changes, because obviously like the software works, but it's like every single day, it's like I'm trying to avoid feature creep and always trying to add more things, but at the same time, it's kind of necessary to compete with some of these larger platforms like Riverside, Opus Clip, Captions. So I'm really trying right now to just see where I fit in the market. And I think a good way to do that is first really solidifying my core product and then going from there, So, okay. And then what I do, so I don't use like any IDE. I used to use VS Code, I used Cursor, but what I realized is that like the only reason I was using it is because of that nice folder structure on the side. But that was just kind of peace of mind. I didn't actually use it necessarily for anything. Um, so then once I realized just using Claude through the terminal, it's not only faster, but you can easily have open multiple windows at a time. That was kind of the clear choice. So now that's what I do. And then basically how you start it up in that folder is you just go here, new terminal at folder, type Claude, bang, and then perfect. And then now it's like based in that folder, so then it doesn't want to deviate and like work in another code base, which is pretty nice. Okay, so let's go back here. And again, like I have this as a PRD, but it's not really. It started as a PRD, and I'll probably clean it up later. But essentially, it's just kind of a notepad. These agents do have in the MCP directory access to Notion, so it's able to actually read write from Notion, but it kind of takes a while. So I find that actually just having a really dialed in Markdown in the actual folder is better. It can just read and write a lot quicker in there, and it's not this whole like fetching from the MCP because it's just like local on the desktop. So that's what I like to do, but then I'll just write my notes in here. I think that if you're doing a lot of like marketing related tasks and things that involve a lot of like categorization, then I think using Notion as your RAG system makes sense. But if you just need like one PRD or simple like markdown plan files, then I would just store it directly in your code base. That's personally just my opinion. But Notion is really great for RAG. Yeah, so let's see. Add privacy. Okay, so I needed to add privacy policy in terms of service, which I added to the homepage a while back. But then I realized I needed to add it to the actual just like base domain of reallabs.ai. And essentially, I don't need to do this, but the reason I'm doing it is to get OAuth verification for Google Drive. So then essentially users can just select from their Google Drive and like, okay, that's not revolutionary. I could just basically pull like download videos directly from Google Drive links. But what's really nice if you get verified for through Google for their Google Drive API is that you actually don't need to store the videos anymore. And basically the user just signs in, they're able to select them, and then I now have access to them. The AI systems can still run, but then we're not needing to do this whole like download process. I don't need to store it on Firebase. It is much quicker for the client, so it's just as like a win-win, Interested to see here. We got one viewer. That's exciting. All right, so right now we are currently figuring out our next change to make. But right here, we just fixed a little issue regarding multi-select in the project modal. So what I like to do here is you can actually just test it out locally versus having to push it first to the web. Because then, if it doesn't work properly, you risk pushing something out that's broken, then impacting all your users. So we can actually just do it through a local server, and then my computer locally is picking up that code. So I'm just going to say here, could you start up a local dev server on an unused port. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And then one thing I noticed on the UI, so I'll go here, is that the playhead kind of, look, you can see it right now. It's like good half the time, but then sometimes it like does this weird thing where when you click on it, it just like automatically skips back. So let's articulate that and get this agent working on it. When I'm scrubbing on the timeline and select the playhead, sometimes it automatically skips back. And yes, it does still scrub properly, but it's like the playhead is just wanting to automatically jump back. So I want you to look into that problem. And actually, before you even look into it, I want you to articulate back to me essentially the problem we're facing. And then, yeah, see how we can fix it. So I'm just using Whisperflow right now for dictation, which I honestly love. And, a lot of people will say, oh, you can just use, Apple's native transcription. Not really. I mean, yes, it does work, but Whisperflow is able to pick up an entire, like you could talk for like 5 minutes, and then it basically, I think it's some type of AI, small AI model. It then figures out, okay, like, what you were actually saying. And what's nice is you can make mistakes and you can say something and be like, oh, no, no, no. And then it just won't include that. So that's why I love Whisperflow. Okay, let's see what this said. When scrubbing the timeline, two things are likely fighting over the playhead position. The scrub handler sets current time to wherever the cursor is on drag. Okay, it's a classic race condition with the scrubbing. So sometimes it's kind of hard with AI because it just like jumbles up words and you're like, yeah, I think that was the issue. So I think it understands what I'm saying here, but let's just let it look at the code base a little more. But one thing I'm usually pretty adamant about, and I've learned my lesson on, is like you have to make sure you and your agent are on the same page. So I will, like 90% of the time, I'll say to it like the issue I'm facing, and then I'll tell it to articulate back to me the problem. So then I know it knows, and that's how you save so much time going, where you tell it to fix something, it like fixes something slightly different. You're like, no, 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 I meant this. And you can just mitigate that right off the bat. So looks like this port is what we'll use to test out the change when it comes to multi-select. And again, you can just paste this in your browser and it's literally pulling locally. And little problem here, it does not have the Firebase.env file, which just happens on new ports. But essentially, here's what I'm going to say. Hey, just noticed that you don't have the .env credentials for Firebase in this work tree. Ensure that you do so that Firebase can fetch everything it needs to. Okay, bang. Let's check the viewers. All right, perfect. So what it just did is copied over to the .env file. And then now, of course, we're able to get in. Perfect. And literally all of this code is coming locally. but it's still using like Firebase storage and it's still like calling for AI in the cloud. So it's not like I'm suddenly able to run massive AI models on my computer or like, so it's literally just like the front end UI. But that's like a majority of the changes. So it makes sense to just like do that locally, and then you don't need to wait like minutes for that to like push to Firebase. Okay, and as you can see, oh wait, no, this was the multi-select. But this is the weird thing about this bug that we were just facing is like, look, it's not a problem anymore. But you could see earlier it would skip. But so that's kind of weird. But that probably will be fixed soon. This agent is still looking into it. And then let's see if that works. Okay, perfect. So you click add, bang, bang, add 3 clips, and it adds to the timeline. That's awesome. All right, but next thing, I bet you're already noticing this watching is like, even at the most zoomed out point, you're needing to still scroll forever. We should just make this a slider. That I think that makes the most sense. So first, let's just push this, or let's say merge changes from work tree. Perfect. So whenever AI says like most likely or like that's probably, you're usually not on the right track because AI always wants to like actually hallucinate and tell you that it for sure knows something. So when it tells you it's like not even sure, then you kind of know that like, all right, it's just kind of making guesses and it's probably just going to like fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. So what we're going to say is, well, actually, what I want to look into first is like, why does this happen only on the deployed version, but not on the local version? That seems kind of weird. Let's see if we reload this, what happens. Okay, so it works well. That's so strange. Okay. That's so strange. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it's working perfectly. I don't really know what to say. It kind of fixed itself, I guess. So let's just put this agent to bed, I guess. Oh shit, we got to commit this. So essentially, after you make changes on a work tree, you have to first commit it, which like, okay, GitHub is so confusing, so I don't want to just like ruin your brain right now. But when you commit it, it's like you're packaging up your changes, and then now when I tell this agent to merge it, it like knows like, okay, here are the packaged up changes that were made, and then like this main code base is able to like just pull those changes, but it's not like needing to pull the entire code base. So then we can just now say merge changes from work tree 2.01, then get 2.01 up to speed. And why I said get 2.01 up to speed is so then once, well, no, I guess that was unnecessary, but when you have like multiple work trees going on, and you're merging all these changes, then some of these work trees can get behind. So then you need to say in main, like, hey, get all the other work trees up to speed. So then you can just continue using these versus having to like, shut down a work tree after every new change and then like start up a new one. Like that's just a hassle. Nobody wants to do that. Um, okay, perfect. So yeah, let's add the expand contract slider. Hey, so right now the timeline cannot get expanded enough, and yeah, also just using the expand contract buttons don't feel super intuitive to the user. So I'm thinking we implement some type of slider uh, where, yeah, you can expand and contract fully. Um, is there any way that a full uh, expansion sees only how many, like, expands perfectly out to the point of how many clips are in the timeline? And then maybe we could have contract just hard coded around, I don't know, 2 seconds of footage. So just look into the code base, see how we could make this happen, and then get back to me with a little plan on the problem we're facing and how we can fix it best. Perfect. Yo, we got someone in here. Did you drop out of college? Uh, almost, kind of. Yeah, I would say I did. So this is pretty much going on full time, and I do have some big news coming up here pretty soon. Thinking about making the move out to California, to take this thing full time. So we will see. But I appreciate you tuning in. All right, let's see what this agent is doing. Good picture. Let me know. Okay, it's still working. So yeah, a little bit more about what's going on. So I had really been grinding on Space Studios, which was the digital marketing and production company, and I still have a few clients, few projects going on with that. But I really got to a point with building software where I was like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do. And so the last 3 or 4 months, like I've just been obsessed with this, and I've been slowly but surely building out this app. Um, I truly think it's really helpful, and it's a problem I always faced when when I was running my company is video editing. It just sucks so much. So that's kind of why I'm building this app. And hey, we'll see if it's the one. Maybe it's not, but at least I've learned a ton, uh, just like grinding, building over the last 4 or 5 months. Okay. Just read it and responded to you. Apologies for being a little late to respond. All right, let's see if it got it fixed. The problem, the multi-track language. This agent speak in my language at Maximum 4. The clips are enormous. 2 seconds of content visible. We can also derive. This agent is right on track. Yes, go for it. So the thing with vibe coding is that wait. So the thing with vibe coding is that planning is so important. Like one of these fixes to anyone who's not coding would just be like, oh, it's like I can't make the timeline bigger or as like small as I want to, or like there's all these little things that when you first get into vibe coding, you're like, oh my gosh, why can't I just solve that problem super quickly? But what you realize is like there's all these knock-on effects, and you need to be really careful about which things you're changing. So that's definitely why each little fix, no matter how small it is like kind of meticulously planned out, because I've just learned time and time again, you have to plan each step of the way. Okay. So this guy's still working on that. Let's clear this chat here. Also, a little tidbit. These agents are like genies. You only get a few wishes out of them before, I mean, in the genie analogy, you wouldn't get any more wishes. But essentially, once these context windows get filled up, it's like you're going to drive yourself crazy. It's going to take much longer for them to think and execute tasks. And also it'll just get mixed up because it has all these different things that it's done for you already. So just after you do something, I would recommend just clearing the chat, and then in order for it to not take a while, for it to get going up again, because sometimes it needs to understand, okay, what's going on. Just tell it exactly where to go. So say something like, read the PRD, and then I'd like you to do X, Y, Z, and then it's able to just really quickly get on it and go. All right. So to do. Oh, we got to get update. Perfect. Got to get this this change that we made in here over to this one, and then we'll get working on here. What are we thinking? Okay, so now you're able to multi-select, which is great. There's like so many other things in my head, but once I'm live, I just my mind spaces out. So I'm just gonna check here, see if there's anyone. Okay. So. Okay. I'll just go full screen with these Gions. See if I can even. Bang. Yeah, I think this will look a little better. We'll just size up these windows. All right, I see we have a few viewers in here, which is awesome. So essentially where we're at right now is we have one of these agents just working on fixing up a little issue we had with zooming in and out on the timeline. And I'll actually show you that right here. So essentially before you had to click, here, I'll actually show you, it's not even deployed yet. So you had to click in, or this is to contract, and then this is to expand. You have to go like this, which is kind of annoying. So what we did here is now you're able to go bang, bang, and it looks like it works perfectly. But we do want to test if we add more clips to the timeline. Let's see if it adjusts. Okay, perfect, perfect. That worked pretty well. So let's go ahead and merge these changes to our main code base. So what we're going to do is go over here to main. We're going to say merge changes from Real Labs 2.01 to main. And just forgot we got to commit. Bang. Perfect. One viewer. Let's go. If you have any questions about AI, what I'm doing, let me know. I know it's confusing. Okay, this committed, and then we're gonna go bang. Perfect. Okay, fix that. What is next up on deck? I don't really like how it does this like background thing. Because yes, in theory, it does look good for shorter clips, but it's kind of inconsistent. Like you don't see it on this one, you see it for this one. So let's just get rid of that. We're having an issue where clip cards on the timeline are showing a semi-transparent background on them. I think it's just showing like the thumbnail from that clip. So I'm wondering what in the code base is making it do that and how we can get rid of that. Don't make any changes yet. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, it might be counting me as a viewer. Well, if you're in here, let me know or forever hold your peace. Yes, I'd love you to do that. Thank you. Okay, let's think. Perfect. So it just got rid of that. Let's go ahead and yep. Hit another merge from 2.01. Bang. Okay, we gotta let's brainstorm here. Let's think. How can we're getting this bug again. Are you serious? It just sneaks up on you when you least expect it. As you can see here, watch. When I click on the playhead, it skips back. And it's still everything works properly. And I bet when I reload, it fixes it. Let's see. It does. Okay, so here's my theory. When I add a new clip to the timeline, it's making it tweak. I was wrong. Maybe when you adjust this, let's see. No. I have no clue then. That's so odd. That is so strange. Okay, well, let's hold off on that right now until we have solid evidence of what's causing it. You know what I don't like though? This background of this slider that just looks heinous. But again, yeah, let's fix it real quick. Okay. We're just gonna go bang, give it a little reference of what we need here. And then let's go. Can you just like add a file through here? Sheet. Oh. Bang. Oh, this is like only within the code base. Okay. Well, let's not try to solve everything right now. Wait, I'm gonna see if is anyone in here. I don't know. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, so let's add this. I'm not a fan of the outline of the slider pill. Can we just get rid of that black outline? We'll still keep the gray, but yeah, just analyze the screenshot and then articulate back to me what I'm trying to change before we do it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. We've been doing little boring bug fixes, so let's think. So one thing I'm thinking about here is right now you're able to see, excuse me, you're able to see the transcription, you're able to see all the visual analysis data, but like besides this AI being able to use it, there's not, it doesn't help much more than that, which is great, you know, it serves its purpose, but I feel like there's so much more potential that we could leverage with the transcript, with the transcript especially. Um, so like, what if, I mean, theoretically, each clip, so each clip is already tagged. Just seeing if this works. Oh, that's great. Okay. What if we had a little panel that showed off the transcript from the clip you had selected, and then you're able to make edits directly to the transcript panel. You hear what I'm saying? So like it's pretty intuitive because you're just editing text. You're like, oh, I didn't like when I said this or this, but then it's actually cutting the timeline at the same time. I think that's possible. Let's give it a try. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. First off, I was trying to make the viewing experience better, but that's just not gonna cut it. So we're gonna cut this into 4 windows. Here we go. This is the way to do it. Perfect. Okay, great. So let's first have this agent do this. Hey, so I think there's a big potential for us to leverage the transcript for more than what we're doing right now, which is just feeding that into the Gemini 3.1 Pro preview call when the user queries in the chatbot. Like, I feel like we could almost have some type of transcription panel or something where the user can just like see the transcript. It gets highlighted as, you know, you're going through the video, and then you're able to just like make edits directly to that transcript, meaning you can, you know, delete words, you know, you can edit words, which I guess editing words doesn't make complete sense right now because we don't have any caption features enabled. But I think you get the general gist of what I'm saying. So I'd like you to enter a brainstorming session and see what other ways that we could leverage the transcript in order to make the editing experience a little more seamless for the user. Perfect. We got a viewer. Let's frickin' go. Okay, I don't know how I can. Oh, I can just see it right here. Okay, perfect. Okay, viewer. So right now we have a few agents working. We're essentially cleaning up a few bugs, but we're also scheming some ways to leverage the transcript a little more because all clips when they're uploaded have really rich data, so a really rich transcription, really rich visual data, and that data is all accessible and is used when you query in this chat bar, but um, it can't be really used any other way. So what I'm thinking is that we have some type of transcript panel that the user is able to edit and to make changes to, and then that just applies automatically on the timeline, if that makes sense. So that is what we're gonna do. First off, I'm just gonna say merge changes from worktree 2.01, and then get all work trees up to speed with main, and then push. That was a lot of GitHub jargon. I know it's confusing, but what I was doing there is getting these other work trees, which are basically they're just extensions of this code base right here. So like think of all of these as like literal copies of each other, but this one is kind of like the king copy that we keep pure, we keep clean, and when we make changes in other work trees, then once we know that change is good and we like it, then we merge it to main. But like these are kind of like sandboxes in a way. And then this is the real deal. Okay. Okay, perfect. So you'll be able to see here how I'm wanting this agent to just brainstorm a little more about the transcription idea. And in the meantime, let's search for a few more bugs in here. Wait, this did not. Shit. That just did not do anything. No, it kind of did. That's fine. Tis fine. I mean, sharing doesn't work great right now, but is that really the priority? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's really just about like leveraging the existing data we have and showing that to the user in the right way. I just don't love this modal. It like sure it looks good, but it's just like, is it intuitive? I don't know. All right, let's see what this guy had to say. Okay. So it's getting back to me on ideas for implementing kind of a transcript panel. Side panel. And it's asking me where I want to put it. Okay. I do like the UI look right now. It's very clean, but like functionality always beats, looking clean. And I think there's always a correct way to do it. So I guess if you're interested, drop in the chat. Do you think we should put it over here? Or do you think we should have some type of like drop down transcript panel over here? Let me know. I'll give you like a minute. If not, or if I don't hear back, I actually don't know. Because this panel serves so nicely to just like hold projects and it's kind of like your base panel. So I just don't want it to get mucked up with things that are very low level and related to this project. Let's see what it is. Below the time. No, below the timeline is. Or I guess. I guess that would kind of make sense if it's like on the clip in a way. That's not a terrible idea. But what does it mean below the timeline? Opens on demand via a button. Tab an existing sidebar. So I don't know. We could go the route of just having like multiple drop downs here for stuff like transcript, captions, etc. Um, I just don't know if that's the way I'm wanting to take the UI. Okay, so what would that look like? If we have like, say we have a pill slider right here, transcript. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Let's chat about it. All right, let's click. Okay, so I'm kind of torn between having the words potentially on the clip cards or like right below the timeline versus putting it in the left-hand panel. I just don't want to dirty up the UI too much, and I want it to still feel very intuitive. So, yeah, just give me your thoughts on a few ideas. Just gonna check if the camera's working. Perfect. 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 Good. Words on clip. Yeah, that would kind of break down. Hmm. So like this is what most video editors do. Most platforms they'll make a separate panel which like just doesn't feel very intuitive. So I kind of like the below the timeline approach. Hmm. Okay, enough thinking. Let's try out below the timeline. Let's try the below the timeline approach. First, just draft out a little plan in the chat here, and I'll give approval before you begin building. Perfect. Okay, while it's cooking on that, one thing I want to figure out is, so I simplified playback down to like the core of like the most minimalist playback structure you could have. This was like my literal enemy for months, which is video playback in a browser is freaking impossible. But it's pretty good now. I'm pretty happy about it. But kind of the downside is it's not great for like overlays and things like that. So I'm gonna see if that is possible. Hey, so I know the playback structure we use right now is very minimalist and uses a super simple approach. So see what it would look like if we wanted to have captions overlaid and if we would need to change our playback structure or if we could just simply like just overlay it. I completely botched the way I said that, but it's all right. It's all right. All right, let's just see if this is all updated. Perfect. It's got the slider. I love that slider. It's great. Oh, play/pause hitbox is tweaking. Okay. Just gonna write that here. So only works upon clicking and not spacebar. Mm-hmm. Let's just let it cook. It's a work tree, for frick's sake. Sounds good. See, that's why you need to use GitHub. So then you're able to just say, you know what? This might break everything, but it's chill because it's not the main code base. And you can just spawn another one. Oh, that's sick. We could just add a caption layer. No way. And I know it's like captions, you're like, all right, big deal. But I'm telling you, playback in a browser is literal hell. And yeah, I don't know how I got it down to this like crazy simplified approach because I don't use proxies or anything. Like it is raw videos, but it plays back perfectly. So I just like cannot mess that up. You already loaded clips into a store. Okay, this is kind of sick. I more just wanted to see what that would look like. Um, yeah, we'll let that build out. So if we did add captions, what would that actually look like? Is a pretty good question to ask. We need some type of effects panel situation. Okay, I don't really want to get into that actually right now. I want to fix this bug real quick. So let's start up a new work tree. Just copy this. Start up a new work tree called Real Labs 2.03. Bang. Bang. Look at that. We got all of our little work trees right here. Bang. Okay. How can we generally make it so that when the user clicks play/pause, it always play/pauses rather than trying to trigger other elements that were clicked on? Perfect. Just go full screen with this John. I don't know who is still watching, but I appreciate it. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on here? What is happening? Wait, what the frick? Oh, okay, that was okay. Valid. All right, apparently it's built. Let's check her out. Let's check her out. Wait, what? Go ahead and start up a local dev server on an unused port so I can check out these changes. Make sure to copy over .env from main so that Firebase can access whatever it needs to. Perfect. So Claude has skills, and I swear I just have skills now memorized in my brain. Like things that I have kind of been reluctant to like make a skill, but I just know bar for bar. Like this is one of them, for example. Go ahead and start up a local dev server on an unused port so I can check out these changes. Make sure to copy over .env from main so that Firebase can access whatever it needs to. Like, said that a million times because I always think, I'm like, all right, like, I won't make any more work trees, but then shit always happens and you're like, I'm just clearing all work trees. And then you make more work trees. So here we are with another skill that I've cached in my brain. Sick. Okay, I don't know why this keeps tweaking. Okay, it found it. Good. Start up a local dev server on an unused port and make sure that you have whatever you need from .env on main so that Firebase can have correct access. Just did it again. Dude, these agents are tripping. I gotta add to Claude that Real Labs 2.0 is main. It's not actually called main. Perfect. Oh, baby, let's check this out. Let's check this out. Oh? Okay. It's kind of glitchy though. Oh. Yo. Wait. Then when you click, that's pretty sick. That's pretty dope. Obviously, we'll make changes to this, but like this actually makes it a lot easier, I think, to just like skip through a video versus having to go in like a side panel. Like this just makes sense, you know? Okay, good stuff. This will tie really nicely into like removing silences and speech errors, etc. Perfect. Small issue here though is that it's not following the playhead. Would kind of be nice if the playhead was following. But overall, that's fire. Okay, think, William. Yeah, it is skipping correctly. Great. Great. Listen, listen. Oh, wait, no, I have my AirPod in. You can hear it. It starts at the perfect time. Listen.
Frequency to make
Frequency. Watch.
maximum gain.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay. So how does this become better? Good question. I was wondering the same thing myself. Phase 2 has not been implemented yet, which allows you to delete clips. Makes sense. Okay, this is great. I'm a huge fan. What does phase 2 entail? Perfect. What did this guy do in this tree? Oh, phase 2 is word. Wait, no. What is this guy doing? See, you got to pay attention. I'm saying this myself because it's like he was about to like do a Firebase MCP pull, which is just completely unnecessary. No, just look on the desktop folder, Real Labs 2.0, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These agents, man. All right. Phase 2 is a word range deletion, selecting a span of words in the transcript panel and cutting that time range out of the timeline. Seems pretty intuitive. Okay, this seems valid. So I see we have a new viewer. Essentially what we're doing right now is we just implemented a cheeky little feature which essentially pulls the entire transcript and then shows it here. And then you're able to like skip to those parts of the video, which is pretty sick. But what I want to enable is for users to actually delete certain portions. So then they can just like speed through this. You know, they're like, okay, I don't like when we said this. I don't like when he said this. And like, again, you can use the AI, but it's kind of cool to like see this with your eyes. So we're just dialing in a plan, which is phase 2.
and I were because he's trying to minimize the amount of training he's doing.
Perfect. That works. Merge changes from worktree 2.03. Okay. Okay, what are we solving for? Navigation sucks. We're making it better. Okay, so a few ideas, just things I'm thinking about before we go any further is what if. Oh, you know what? I kind of want to just let it cook. Just generalizing that term. The split case is the trickiest, but the code for it all. You know, just gonna let it cook. All right, that sounds good to me. One other thing is, could we make the transcript section just a little like almost a card, kind of like how the timeline is outlined with the gray line, and then maybe at the top left of that of the little transcription section, just put a expand collapse button. My brain is kind of fried. Good thing we have nobody to see me suffer right now. Bang. It's low-key perfect. Is it? Yeah, it's pretty far. Pretty for you. Well, no, where are you going? Sick. Oh, okay, let's see if it works. See if it works.
All right.
See if we go bang. Okay.
All right.
Okay, cuts it.
All right.
What if we go bang?
And I were hitting a. All right. And I were hitting a full
Oh, that actually does work. Sick.
body workout today because he's trying to minimalize.
Like, this is a big word. Let's see.
He's trying to the amount of training. He's doing one workout per.
I like that. All right. For the most part, this looks good to me. One thing, though, is, after you delete something, what if we just had it crossed out on the UI rather than oh my gosh, just fully deleting it? That way the user kind of has recollection of, what they've kept and what they've deleted. Bang. We got a viewer. Perfect. Right now we're making a little, no, actually this is kind of a big structural change. So we're actually allowing
per month.
the user to see the transcript from the video. Great. But then also they can delete certain words. So you just go bang, delete. And then as you can see, it deletes it and then watch.
In order to just
Like, it just deleted the word month.
one workout per. In order.
No more month. So we're just kind of dialing it in right now with a few things. Let me know if you have any questions. Actually, let me see. Oh, that's tweaking though now.
And I were hitting a. The amount of training.
Okay. As you can see when I'm clicking on it, it's not actually going to the right spot because I deleted the word right before it, so it thinks that's the beginning of that clip. That is an issue. A problem I'm noticing is that after I delete a certain word, the playhead, upon clicking one of those clips, the playhead goes to in front of that clip because it still thinks that the word deleted is included. So just look at the screenshot that I just uploaded, and I think you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. Hopefully it understands. You guys can see this. But we got another little fun change here. So apparently now when I click delete, it's just gonna cross off. That actually did not work. That did not work. Shit.
As possible. The goal Zeke that's needed in order to call. And so we're going to be hitting a full body day. Yes, sir. We're going for maximum gains off of only maintain as much as possible. The goal.
Shit. Hopefully that worked. No, it did not. Double L.
Yes, sir.
Nope, that did not work. Go ahead and undo that. We gotta fix the cross out issue. Okay, so the cross out issue also did not work. Now in the transcript section, when I click delete, the word actually still just stays there. And the word is not crossed out. So it's kind of worst of both worlds. Meaning it literally looks like it has not been deleted, but it actually did get deleted. But it doesn't look like it's been deleted. Kind of got fucked. Kind of got screwed there. Okay. Just going to fix that change. Man, it's just shitting the bed all across the board now. You see how it's like, when I click on a clip, the line should be right there for the playhead. But it's not.
There you go.
But it starts at the beginning, which is so weird.
Yes, sir.
So freaking strange. Can't win them all. All right. After this change, I think I'm going to wrap it up with the stream. Got to eat and whatnot. Let's see. One viewer. Let's go. Viewer, do you have any questions about what I'm doing right now? About this wizardry vibe coding? Let me know. Let me know. Chat history. What the freak? Guys. Okay. Allegedly, this is fixed. So when we click this, nope. Oh. Oh, wait, it is working. Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
To just Zeke that's needed in order to call himself a gym influencer. And so we're going to be hitting a full body day. Yes, sir. We're going for maximum gains off of only one full body session per month.
Oh. It is delayed.
Ready to rumble.
Yep. But I have a new strategy. I'm focused heavily on efficiency because nobody wants to spend.
Okay. Going to fix this another time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you learned something, great. If not, not great. So, yeah, it's been real. It's been real vibing with you. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace. Let's see, I'm just going to end it here.